Everybody ready? Okay, let's go ahead and start. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. This is the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission, July 3rd, 2024, 6:30 p.m. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a hearing is being held at Town Hall 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Massachusetts Selectmen's Conference Room, 2nd floor, 6:30 p.m., Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. This meeting of July 3rd, 2024 is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Nope. All right, so I will call it the meeting to order. So, Commissioner Kevin Matthews.
Here.
Commissioner Cornelius Crowley.
Here.
Commissioner Hinckley Needham was unable to make it tonight. Commissioner Matt Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Laura Cronin.
Here.
Commissioner Tom Doherty.
Here.
Commissioner Jack Kay.
Here.
And I, Cheryl Powell, Chair, am also here. Can I ask staff to please introduce themselves?
Karen Pina, Admin Assistant, Planning and Development.
And Jim Kupfer, Assistant Director, Planning and Development.
I also want to welcome our Town Council Liaison, Charles Bloom. Welcome. Your presence is always a pleasure. We also have two new members tonight who I'd like to acknowledge, and that would be Conrad Watson. Welcome. Glad to have you. And also Perry Wentworth. Thank you. Welcome to as well. So that being said, no updates on trainings or awards. Correspondence, did you say we had one letter in or not? No letters? Good. All right, so let's go on to new business. So the first one is Indri, Ekasari, DBA, Mariner Café, 282 Main Street, Hyannis, map 327, parcel 098. And if I can just point out, we do have three alternates here tonight. I believe that the two new ones are our alternates. So we have only 7 voting. Kevin, so the others can learn, can I ask you to be the 7th voter?
Sure.
Thank you. And also I wanted, please, we need additional information from Conrad and Perry if you want to clarify anything extra that you need to receive.
No.
No?
I just need this letter, copy of the letter.
So, okay, no, okay.
Cindy Love will send me the rest of it.
And we'll certainly get the new members' training materials and packets and all that.
I think, Perry, you have it. Patrick in the clerk's office said that he had given you a stack of stuff.
He gave me the reading material.
Okay. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll get the other packet. Thank you. So if you can put the mic so we can hear you, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your project, please.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
My name is Indri, and I am representing Mariner Café, and we are applying for an A-frame for the cafe, and the reason being is because, of course, we're new business, so we think that the A-frame will probably definitely will boost the business. And the second thing is that because in the summertime, we have a big tree right in front of the cafe. So it actually covered the half of the sign that we have over there right now. So we're thinking like if we have the A-frame, that will be, people can see us better.
A little idea about, for the public, the color and the size?
Oh, it's like the color is navy blue, the same as that's our color, navy blue and white, and it's gonna be 2x4, and the material is, I think it's like those heavy plastic. What do you call that?
A composite?
Yeah, like a composite, yes. And it's gonna be placed right where in front of the beautiful garden.
Oh, nice. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the commissioners and if they have any questions or need further clarification.
Just one question. So it's going to be a composite sign, but you said you have paper, so it'll be paper on the sign itself? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
it's going to be two-sided also.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just concerned about that paper. I mean, get rain or whatever the case is, that thing's going to fall apart and look kind of shabby.
No, the paper is actually covered with plastic, so they make it, there is plastic covering it.
Oh, okay,
it
so
won't-
it's protected? It's
Yeah,
a piece
it's
of paper with
protected. Yes.
Gotcha, okay. That makes all the difference in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to keep making signs.
No.
You got to that question before I did, as usual. Okay, any others with questions? And yes, their alternates
And
can
do you need a
participate.
license from the town to get a A-frame on there?
Yeah, ultimately, if approved, they would need to go to licensing for approval. Every
Yeah.
storefront is allowed to apply for one.
I already put an application with the building department, and at the same time, I put an application over here.
Thank you.
Any further questions for clarification on the presentation? Nope. In that case, I will open it up for public comment. Is there anyone here to speak to it? No? Okay, so I'll leave that open till we go to motions. So, commissioners,
Fine.
Yeah?
staff?
No, nothing on this one. Thank you.
So in that case, I will close public comment and ask one of the commissioners to please make a motion on the findings.
I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with preservation and protection of the district.
I'll second it.
Okay, and that's with regard to 282 Main Street, Hyannis, map 327, parcel 098. So it was proposed, and that, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on, oh, actually, we have to vote on the findings first. Yep, sorry about that. So, Commissioner Kay. Aye. Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark. Aye. Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin. Aye. Commissioner Crowley.
Aye.
I also say aye. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're good. So would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness?
I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 282 Main Street, Hyannis, as described in the submitted materials.
Second? Anybody?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Kay. All right, Commissioner Cowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin? Aye. Commissioner Matthews?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sorry, I also say aye. Okay, so that carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's pretty silly.
Yes, thank you. I agree.
So far.
Oh, very good.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see that. Yeah, it's very good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Been around since 1639.
Adam Burnett.
That's right.
Demolition. Yes, please.
Sorry, as an architect, can I also sit at the table? Is that okay, or just one person?
That's fine. There's a chair down there.
Absolutely not.
Thank you for asking them.
Who do you think you are?
So, the question I have, because these are all the same addresses, can I suggest that we do the demolition first, or do you want to do the demolition in the new building, or probably best to do the demolition first? What's your comfort zone?
We're going to talk about all of it, so.
Okay. All right, so why don't you talk about all of it?
Okay. So first of all, my name's Adam Burnett. I'm the executive director of Champ Homes. Since the early 90s, Champ Homes has been a staple in our community, providing transitional housing to adults on Cape Cod who are experiencing or on the brink of experiencing homelessness in a safe, therapeutic, and supportive environment where we offer case management, help folks identify goals and work towards their goals. Over the course of the past 30-some-odd years, over 3,000 people have called Champ Homes their home for some time or another. And the reason why we are proposing this additional building is because the space that we're currently occupying is wildly not sufficient for our needs going forward. We have significant roof leaks. We have a kitchen that's falling down around itself. We have plumbing that needs to be upgraded throughout our building. We have office space that is integrated into the living quarters for our Champ Homes participants. And the main building is where we house 33 of our 50 Champs. And it's just inadequate for our future needs. So we are proposing erecting a building across the street that will basically replicate the services that we currently perform in 82 School Street. And the ultimate long-term plan is not to expand our offerings in terms of the number of beds. We would ultimately, our plan, tentative plan, is to vacate 82 School Street and move all of our entity across the street between 75 and 83 School Street. So we do not have a long-term plan for what will happen with 82 School Street because this is probably several years out in terms of fundraising and erecting a new building, moving across the street, at which point we will assess the best usage of 82 School Street, and it will, in all likelihood, probably fundraise the last part of our overall capital campaign project.
Excellent. Anything more?
Can I just add a little bit about, let's start with the demolition as you suggested. So I just want to make sure everyone's oriented. I think staff did a great job with your report, but there are 5 structures on this site, and I just want to make sure everybody's oriented. So if we're just speaking about Introduce yourself. Oh, sorry. My name's Allison Alessi. I'm the architect with A3 Architects. Thank you. Rusty.
We know you.
So just briefly, there are 5 structures on this lot. There are 2 historic Greek Revival style houses. They're white. They're closest to School Street. So if you drive by, that's what you've seen. There is an additional house towards the back. And there are also a pavilion, an open-air pavilion that you can see a little bit from the street. And finally, there's a garage. So for the demolition portion of this application, we're asking to remove the pavilion, which I think was built in the 80s. And we're asking to remove the carriage house towards the back of the property. And we don't come to your board lightly with demolition. We've been to site plan review, at least informally, with the town. And to get access for the fire trucks, we needed to open up this site a little bit. So we are knocking these buildings down to provide better access and safety towards the back of the site. The existing garage is literally on the lot line. So while it's pre-existing non-conforming, it's almost over the lot line on the neighbor's property. There's also a water easement, which required us to move one of these buildings as well. It's under the pavilion. So I just wanted to emphasize that we are not touching the 2 buildings at the front, the more historic buildings. The 2 structures that we're proposing to demolish are at the back.
What is the age of the garage?
That's unknown. It looks fairly historic to me if you look at the photos. Yeah, and so we tried to take our inspiration from that building for the new building using the same kind of roof pitches and Greek Revival, but I don't know the age of it.
The house was built when?
We do have I think Jim referenced it in his report, that I think it's from the 18...
87, I believe.
Thank you. I do have it printed here. Yes. 1887 is the front. Only one of the houses has the official documentation. The other house is mentioned, but it doesn't have any information. I guess we could assume it's from that time, but a lot of times it was the barns or the garages were a little bit later, weren't quite as old, so I'm not sure.
I would say it's not the same. They had to put the horses someplace.
Sure.
And a brief correction, the pavilion was erected on and around 2007 or 2009, so a little bit newer.
Thank you.
just to clarify for people, they're the two that are, have the yellow around them on the paper. Okay, anything else
Nope,
for the demolition?
nope, that's it for demo.
Is there any way with that garage, I think it's a beautiful structure. Is there any way you can incorporate that into the new building or in any way? Or?
I would lean into the architect's opinion on that, but I can say that my opinion would probably be that it probably wouldn't be structurally sound to build off of.
I mean, what we're proposing for the main building, the larger building that we're going to talk about with the next application, is 2 stories. I don't believe the framing is adequate to do this. I don't believe the foundation is adequate. It's rather derelict. It's not in great shape right now. I think it would be difficult for us to find a way to use it because one of the things that I like about this site is we're really intensifying the density of it. It feels like a nice urban campus in this beautiful street in Hyannis, but I don't know if there's room for a 6th structure. Like, right, there's already a lot of footprint here.
See the new structures and go on. This is going to be. We're not going to vote on demolition first, right? Or
No, I think we should hear, that's why I suggested that we did that. Is there anything more on the demolition?
I think I just would like to comment that I would like to see it, if incorporated or at least relocated, maybe where it could be part of the new area, because it does go with the rest of the buildings that are in there, and it does look historic.
Can I just point out one little thing with that too? I did bring photos. I don't know how much of you, if you were able to go by, but there is a historic footprint, and then it's been added onto. I would hope. Sorry, it's going to take me a minute to find.
Tell us what page you're on.
There's a back view of it where you do see there's this historic piece, but it's been added onto over the years. So I think if we were going to salvage it, we would try to just salvage the barn piece. I just wanted to flush that out because there is a couple things that have been added onto. Do you see that photo? I'm sorry, I don't know what page it is. Okay.
Yeah, so that, you're saying that back door with
On this page here.
where the shakers are, all that's the original 1887 structure, and then it was built on with the white building to the right of that, correct? I'm looking at the same thing. Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying that this here is the original structure?
No, the opposite.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
believe this is the original
Gotcha.
structure. I'm glad we clarified that.
Yeah.
I believe this is the original structure with the red roof, and the pieces behind
back
it
of-
have been added on over
Right.
time. They're more like sheds.
Gotcha.
And like, yeah.
if you look at the moldings of the garage, it matches the moldings on the house. That's
It does, and we tried to play off that on the new. We have some gesture of these kind of carriage house doors because we're trying to be inspired by it. I just wanted to point that out because it is kind of a jogged footprint.
When I was looking at this, the thing that I felt bad about was that pavilion. I'm like, oh, that's such a nice open-air pavilion to go and sit, and that for me, I was like, oh, it's too bad. That was the
Well,
one that got me.
actually, to that point, we did really spend a long time investigating reusing that, and unfortunately, it's sitting on a water easement, and it has similar insufficient foundation, and we think it makes more sense to slightly move the building and get out of that water district easement. So we did contemplate doing that. As I said, we didn't come here like lightly with asking to demolish.
Sure.
Additionally, the pavilion needed to be moved in some capacity or at least trimmed significantly because of the fire truck and gaining access to the proposed site of the new building.
And the parking area, too, that you want to put in, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the necessities of removing/demolishing the garage is to add enough parking.
Gotcha. And as an architect, you're testifying that a structure should have a strong footing?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Are there any more demolition questions, or should you tell me how you
We
want?
might have one here. Let's just.
Okay.
This is the first time my eyes are failing me.
You want me to see that? Want to
The
know what it
dark
is?
print within that blue building.
Oh, wow.
It says perhaps proposed campus hub.
Okay.
Campus hub at the,
Existing, it says existing canopy to,
Just that smaller blue structure, does that say
Existing-
proposed campus hub?
Sorry, I
existing,
need to make sure I'm
existing
looking at
canopy
it.
to be removed under this wording here.
okay, yeah, just above that. Proposed
Oh.
campus hub, that's
Oh,
what it
right.
says. I just got the light right. And what we mean by that, so we have volunteers that come in and prepare dinners for our Champ Homes participants 5 nights a week. Additionally, they have access to the kitchen, the one that I referenced is falling down around itself. That's where we host these volunteers, and 33 of our champs have access to that kitchen to prepare their own meals. And what we're looking to do is to centralize that function and have a nice kitchen space in this pavilion, central for all Champ Homes participants to access, in addition to a computer room so they can brush up on their resumes and look for jobs, donation room, and an area to gather. So that's going to be the function of this new structure. And again, centrally located for all people to use and volunteers to come in.
Enough bedrooms in?
No, not in the proposed
in the-
campus hub as we
the new-
name it. No, just in the new building.
Anything more to present on that?
Nope.
Alyssa, did you have anything else you wanted to say on that particular?
On the demo or the
Yeah, on the
next
demo-
application?
on the demo.
Oh, no, I think we
And
said it.
do any of the commissioners require any further clarification on the demo proposal? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you just can't vote tonight, because what happened, just to explain, there's 7 commissioners, and the alternates are, one of the full commissioners doesn't show. So we're kind of, if you're all right tonight, we're letting the 2 of you kind of learn the procedure. It's been a long time since we've had the pleasure of having 3 alternates and every single seat taken. So we really welcome you. But participation, absolutely.
I've done a lot of antique housing over, and this barn here, although it looks pretty plain and simple, I think it adds a lot of character, especially with the cupola. And whether it's structurally sound or not, I'd like to take a look at it, see if it can be preserved. About it.
Okay.
And I think you'd have to see how, with the add-ons, if you look at this one picture, this add-on here, if you look at those windows, that's definitely new windows. Okay? But that could have been replaced. I would take a look at the door, see how, that could give you the age. If it was connected to this is definitely add-on,
Right.
stuff like that.
Would you be interested in that to move it to a different site, or are you interested in trying to preserve it for this site?
I don't know if it could be moved, that's why I like to look at it, but probably it's keeping it where it is.
Yeah.
Conrad?
Yeah.
Just to clarify that, and if you ever have any questions on procedure or anything, please ask. One of the possibilities is to ask for for us to go to somebody from the commission to go to the site and have a look. Or usually we ask for at least 2 to go. That is a possibility. So,
Let me ask you-
Okay. So I am happy to host any and all. We can do a big field trip, and everybody can come down and view it. Happy to show anybody who's interested. We're not, as Allison had said, we're not taking this lightly. We don't want to tear this down. If somebody would like to move it on their dime, by all means. We are not married to this thing. We are certainly not married to demolishing it. But keeping it in its current spot inhibits the overall plan for moving forward, because we simply wouldn't have the turning radius for the fire truck or adequate parking.
I was just going to ask that. Did you get a site visit from the fire department that told you that that's the issue and that's a problem?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes. And they overlay software. You could probably explain it a lot
Well, they
better
do.
than I could.
They draw the truck and show the turning radius. So the engineer has done that. We didn't bring that study tonight, but we certainly can bring that.
And that's
show
from
you.
the fire department, gotcha.
It's from the engineer, but with the advice of the fire department, yes. We did go to informal site plan review to kind of get some of this initial feedback before we came here.
Okay. Oh, yes, Peg?
Do you have a timeline that if, let's just say everything went the way you hoped it would go, when would the actual start of the project be?
So,
The demolition to make way for the new
right.
construction?
So we would be entering into a capital campaign phase, which would probably be a fairly lengthy process. And we would not be in the position to probably demolish the pavilion until such time as we were adequately funded to move forward with the overall project. So 18 months to 3 years is kind of what I'm guessing. But if somebody comes out of the woodwork with a very large check, it could accelerate that process. I'm not counting on that.
Even though it's not our purview, I would like to ask the question, where would the people who are currently using that go? How would they still get to the help that they need while that's happening?
So presently, we have our main building with 33 beds, and then across the street, the two that are referenced in this plan, 83 School Street has 9 beds, 75 has 6, and then the other building, 83B, set behind it, has 3 beds. All of those would remain intact until the building was ready to go, at which point we would move headquarters directly across the street and then figure out what to do with 82 School Street.
We're not just moving more people out onto the streets.
Oh, no,
That's-
no.
yeah,
Quite the
okay.
contrary.
And you're not doing or not planning any renovations to 75, 83A, or 83B? It's just basically the 2 new structures you're looking to do?
Yes, however, the current large building has 33 beds. I've addressed that a couple times, and our proposed new building has 30. So we would ultimately be losing 3 beds. The only thing that I would like to do is permit 83 for an additional 2 beds in a current, it's defined as a dining room. But we could absolutely add 2 beds there.
You mean on the inside?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yeah, so no,
It's not part of this formal
I was going to say, that's not my,
application.
that's not our,
Interior,
yeah. I'm talking about the exterior. The interior is not really in our purview. I'm talking
okay,
about
so
the exterior stuff.
no touching of the exterior
The 3
on
of
any
those
of those
buildings.
3
Okay.
buildings. Yep.
Any other commission? I have.
I had 2 questions more for Jim. Jim, and this is probably more of a planning question. When you have a significant improvement on a parcel that has aspects of it that are grandfathered, does that grandfathering go away? Like, under what circumstances do you do something in a parcel and that revokes the grandfather status?
Yeah, that's a large question. So there's a lot of variables to that. So using an example, say this garage or that is sitting on the parcel line, if say it was moved out of the setback, so I'm not certain exactly the setback on School Street, it might be as small as so 10 feet. So if say they moved to 11 feet, they no longer could move that garage back to that footprint that's right on the parcel line. So they would lose, in that instance, they would lose grandfathering rights. But, there's a lot of variables at play.
And just going off of that, the fact that it's, you have in your report, it's listed on 2 national registered districts. What's the impact of that, if anything? And again, this is probably something that was addressed by planning, but.
Right, so it is in the National Register District, and there are 2, I believe, 2 structures listed in that, but those are the 2 ones up front. The 2 that are being discussed as accessory structures, I don't believe are identified in those listings.
Has this gone through planning yet?
It's gone through informal site plan review, first round, so they would need to return back.
When you were talking earlier about the demolition of the pavilion to be 3 years down the road, is that the same for the garage? It would also be 3 years down the road?
We have no need to demolish the garage in it. I'd imagine we don't have any need to demolish the garage before we start the overall project. And we're actually using the space right now. So I can't honestly say, because there is a world where we could potentially have a phase 1 and a phase 2. Phase 1 being the demolition of the pavilion and getting that campus hub set up. And then phase 2 being the erecting of that building in the back of the parcel. A lot of it probably is dictated by how the capital campaign would go.
Yeah, well, there may be some interest in this building.
The
And if there's no
garage.
hurry to demo it, how would it be possible to find someone, if we found someone that would be interested in that building, they could have it? How do we know that?
I think he's already said on their own dime.
Yeah, but if we grant permission to demo the garage, we have a timeline when it still can be saved.
Yeah, I understand.
And that should be identified, that if in that period someone would be interested in it, you'd be receptive to that kind of a removal.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's all I was interested in.
If somebody wants
Point,
to come.
Jack.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It is a good point.
I love this. Again, I love the history of the garage. I wish it didn't have to come down, but, basically cutting to the chase here, you're saying that garage cannot stay where it is and cannot move anywhere else on the property with what you're proposing. If this committee said, we want that garage to stay up, you would have to redo all of this. That's basically cut to the chase, right?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
No, we also said if it could possibly be moved.
Yes.
Right, but they've already said, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've already said there's nowhere on this property it could move.
The way that it's designed now, I mean, I don't want to dwell on parking, but we are trying to provide parking. We're not providing what's required by town zoning bylaws for parking. We're going to have to ask for relief on that. And I think that, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but the population, some of the folks that live here are walking and working on Main Street, and we think that's a good fit and a good argument to have less parking on site. But we do need to provide some. There are 6 to 8 staff members that will be parking there, and so we do have to be cognizant of that. It's not just this fire truck access, but we're trying to get all the beds to fit and the parking as well.
Where is the access the fire department's having problems with?
Yeah.
It's just north of 75 School Street in the driveway.
So it's a one-way U. It's similar to how it works right now, where you would go in here and come out this way, but the turning radius is larger now, so it still works like this, where you drive in and come out there.
Garage is where on this?
It's right here.
It's right here.
Yes.
And that doesn't give enough time?
It doesn't. I think it's all very tight on this. The exit drive is very close to the existing building, and it's basically on the property line. It's all very tight, so there's not enough access. Sorry, the garage is here. Yeah. Yes.
It's that darn cupola that makes that garage look so darn cute. I love that cupola.
Well, we could definitely salvage the
No, I know. I'm just saying. It's just so good.
We'll save it no matter what, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to clarify, though, about moving it, is it that it cannot be moved because it would fall apart and it would not survive, or is it that there's no place to put it?
For us, there's no place to put it on the site. I've met with house lifters all over the Cape, and I'm continually shocked by what they can lift. They can lift anything. So I think it is.
That's honest, thank
But
you.
I would say this building is a little different than an old Cape Cod house in that it doesn't have a framed floor. It's a slab, so it's a little different to lift a garage than it is to lift an old Cape, if that makes sense. They definitely use those floor joists. They put the beams underneath it and lift that. So I think we'd have to have someone take a look at it before we can say it's definitely movable.
Can I just see that plan again that you just
This
showed?
one? Yeah.
So this is a garage here, this is a new building. But
Yes.
If it could be moved, couldn't it just be moved right here?
It technically could be moved there, but those are a couple of parking spaces, so we could definitely look at that.
Yeah, because then that would get out of that curve.
Yeah,
If it could be moved.
correct.
What's the fee?
I lived in a carriage house for 35 years, so, and it was on a slab.
I'm a barn lover, too.
Yeah, and they can do amazing things
Yeah.
today, even though it is on a slab. If the beams are all solid.
There is
doesn't matter
another
if
way
it's
they
on
can
a-
lift where they go in the window openings and lift, so that might be the possibility.
How many feet do you save by doing that? If you can move it just that slight bit.
I'd have to look, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Because you could take off some of those old, the old buildings that were added on,
Yeah, and
that
just
would give
move
you-
the
to
small.
give you
The
more-
main structure. Mm.
Yeah, just keep the main
Just
stuff.
looking quickly, I think it would cost us some parking spaces, but there's also, it's hard to say, I'd have to look at that a little bit more. We're required to have 10 feet from buildings because of fire code too, right? You can't have all these buildings. That's why, one of the reasons why the proposed hub that we've mentioned has this jig-jag shape. It kind of follows the setback of the added onto historic house in the front, and that's because we have to meet this fire separation code as well. So it's not not quite as simple as, oh, just move it back a few feet so we can do this. We can definitely look at that.
Because even if it was moved up, you could incorporate it into the
Yeah.
into the actual building, which could be really cool.
So before I suggest anything, I'm going to ask, Jim, do you have anything to add on it?
No, nothing further on the demo. You guys have tackled it well.
So I think, any other commissioner have anything else?
On the demo, no.
No. So what I'm hearing here is we would probably like to send at least 2 commissioners to have a look. I would suggest, Jack, if you're willing, because you're an architect.
I would very much like to go
Yes.
see it, yeah.
And who else would like to go? Conrad, was it? Conrad?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that stops me from allowing alternates to go because they're still commissioners, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, and I think we can also have a third if a third wanted to go. You can't establish quorum, so quorum is 4 for this commission, so we could not send 4. But is there any other commissioner who would like to attend?
I'll go.
Okay, so
I'd like to go too.
I don't see why you can't. It's not establishing a quorum. I can't see all of you, so I don't know if you're joking with me, but I think that would be
That was Charlie.
fantastic. I think that would be fantastic. It's Charlie, yeah.
Town councilors probably want
I think that's fabulous.
We'll comp you.
Charlie's buying lunch after, so you should take him.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, who's going to buy the coffee or the lunch?
Yeah.
We can work with the applicant to set up a site walk for those 4.
Excellent.
Can I ask one more question and I'm done?
Sure.
If we're talking about possibly, and again, I'd love if we could, moving that garage a little bit to the, do we now get to the position where it's on somebody else's land and now it's going to have to come back to where it's supposed to be because it shouldn't be on their land?
There will be zoning implications that they'll have to consider, yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
this-
another thing we got to think about.
So the suggestion I'm going to make, because we're going to send 3 of the commissioners out to have a look, and thank you very much for being so inviting on that. Things may change on the actual proposal for the property or something, it may alter, so rather than taking your time for that, how would you feel about we continue it till after that, and obviously we'd arrange it for the earliest possible date, till that site visit has happened. I think we'd also like to see that study that was done, where it refers to the fire department. The structure, is there a structure report, or is that part of it's got a structure?
sorry, say that
Does it
again?
have a structure report in it?
It's the site engineer's report, and it's
Yeah.
overlaid with the fire check from the chief.
Excellent, excellent. So how would you feel about we continued it, and then with the next one, with the input from the commissioners and their report, that we then also move on to the 2, what would be the new building? Is that acceptable?
It's okay with me, I just think that one of the buildings isn't affected, so should we maybe do that while we're all
Oh, that's
here?
fine.
I don't know, it's July 3rd, you can tell me no
If
when we're
it's-
done.
I mean, if it's on the same application, I think we have to, can you
Okay.
do one and not the other on an application?
We're fine with either.
I think we can bifurcate it.
There's 3, yeah.
Yes, 3.
The 2 main and the campus.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have 3 separate applications.
So I think we can bifurcate that one out, can we not?
It's up to the commission.
I mean, we're
Certainly
not
could if you
violating
wanted
any,
to.
we're not violating any.
No,
Yeah,
no, you
so-
aren't.
So we can bifurcate that one out. I'm sorry,
May
Jim?
may I just suggest to, even if we're going to not discuss the second application, there is public that may wish to comment on any of the applications. You did open the meeting, so
Okay.
could just get their.
So I will open to public comment.
This is for the demo only?
This is for the demo only because we haven't heard the other.
Okay.
Would you like to come forward? And if you wouldn't mind signing your name and stating who you are? Thank you.
Do you want to vacate,
If she could come, if you wouldn't mind.
Jane?
Sign in, please.
Sure. So I'm Jane Walsh. I live at 72 School Street across from the proposed demolition and building. And I looked back at my notes from 2016 because Champ Homes actually had already come to you all before to try and demolish this garage. And it is listed with the Massachusetts Historical Commission as an Italianate carriage house, which retains a high degree of architectural integrity and makes a significant contribution to the architectural character of the area. So I implore you to really take a good look at the significance of this garage. It's no surprise that it's falling down and, needs a floor and lots of work, but I appreciate what the Champ Homes is trying to do, but sometimes, you can't fit a square into a circle hole, and it seems to me that that is kind of what's being proposed here. I really don't want to see that that garage go. The pavilion, fine. There's nothing historical about that. It actually deters from the street. Luckily, it's far enough back that people can't really see it. I like the discussion of maybe possibly eliminating a couple of parking spaces in order to save the original portion of the carriage house. Maybe take off the additions in order to make that fit. And we haven't gotten to the building part yet, but I did get all the paperwork, and maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I didn't see the elevation in relation to the two existing Greek Revival homes. I just saw how it looks on its own. Is that in the paperwork?
It's not, since we weren't touching the two existing structures, we didn't measure and draw those.
I'd just like to see how it sits, in the area, because if it looks like it's going to look here, but the scale is tough to tell without seeing the scale next to the two. I'd love to see the 82, the old nursery, nursing home torn down. That adds nothing to the area architecturally. It's a big box. Basically, I think I got my point across. The carriage house I would really like to see stay. Don't really care about the pavilion. But thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from public comment? Okay, I will leave public comment open. So, Alyssa, which did you want to carve out and do now? Oh, I'm sorry, please come back up. What part is it that you wanted to go on that cast? Obviously, we can't vote on the house if we haven't dealt with the demolition.
We can continue the whole thing, that's fine. I was just suggesting that the campus hub, which we've referenced a few times, isn't affected by, but it's fine. We can come back with the whole.
Mind if we did that? Thank you.
And by the way, Karen, I just want to, according to the agenda, when I look at both of these permits, though it says 75 School Street and 83 School Street separate on the agenda, on both of those files, it has both numbers
It does.
in the file. That's why I'm saying, the application has both 75 and 83
Yes.
on both of those. So I don't know if that can be separated.
Well, they're the same lot, that's why they're listed like that.
Right, but what I mean is, since it's together,
Yeah.
can you take one of those and not talk about them both? I don't
That's
know.
a fair question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the answer to that either.
I think, since they're on the same application, I don't think there's anything that stops us from going ahead and continuing it and requesting the, when is our next date? Oh, it's on July 17th.
Cannot be there for that,
You cannot?
unfortunately.
Okay, when the one after that? August 7th. August 7th? So we'll continue it to August 7th.
My concern would be that there are issues related to the historic nature, and I didn't realize that that also impacted this structure. When is planning looking at this for a final go-through? Do we have a date on that?
No.
So, yeah, we do not have an application in front of planning for reduction of parking, and I don't believe there's been a resubmission for formal site plan review. Very likely, it's going to be contingent on this discussion here because any plan changes would have to go through that process.
Would issues with regard to structures that come under the ambit of something of an historic nature, like this is presumed to be, is that in their purview or ours?
Well, your purview is the architectural evaluation of the proposal of the structures. So, yeah, zoning implications would be that of site plan review and potentially any relief necessary, being zoning or planning.
Could the town attorney look into that at all?
Meaning specifically,
what is involved when you're looking to alter or remove or do demolition on a structure that has a certain historic designation? Unless I'm misreading this.
Our purview is on the historical character of it. We don't dictate use. We don't really, aren't considering what's inside. That's why I made it clear that it's not in our purview to ask what would happen to the people. But of course, I had a personal concern about that. But we cannot go beyond our purview.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah. So
What's inside?
No, this isn't about inside. This is the fact that we have a structure that's designated as being historic. That carries with it certain legal ramifications.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, will our decision potentially run afoul of those ramifications? And if that's a possibility, should the town attorney be involved?
I see.
To make sure that this is all
The
copacetic.
demolition of any historic structure in the historic district of Main Street Waterfront Historic District is your purview, you're the permit granting authority for that. If it's outside of the district and it's 75 years or older, there's Barnstable Historic, there's Old Kings Highway, et cetera. So that's specifically under your purview.
Commissioner Wentworth.
I have a question about the Massachusetts Historical Commission, and if there would be a definition in their organization about removing a property from that designation, and under what conditions that can happen?
Yep.
Is that something we have readily available?
Yeah, we could certainly provide that to everybody. Absolutely.
And we have already done that in the past.
In the past, awesome.
Yes.
But certainly can provide it to everyone.
Yeah. We have that. We can allow that. There's one of the applicants we had from Pleasant Street. It was actually moved. So that is something that can be done.
Do we
but
need
we
to-
can
I'm
also,
sorry.
we can also approve a demolition, particularly if it's something that's not salvageable. There's also a thing called death by neglect. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but sometimes that happens as well, and then it just becomes a safety issue that you can't do anything with. Yes, we can, but we have to not exceed the purview.
Okay, thank you.
So, all right. Anyone else from public comment?
I have an impertinent question.
You impertinent?
Yeah.
Never heard such a thing.
We're talking about a garage. Could you park in it? You want parking spots? Open the
My car in
doors.
there. I think that when the commissioners come and visit the space, you'll see the disrepair of the building. I question whether it can be moved, but I'm not an expert at whatsoever. It is.
We'll look at it.
Yes, and if it is salvageable in any form or fashion, my preference would be that it would be removed because I do think that we need the access to the parking, and I worry that if we are required to keep it on the parcel, even if we were to move it the 10 feet or whatever it is that was kind of proposed, it would eliminate 2 to 3 parking spots. We're proposing, I believe, 16. And that's already asking for significant relief, and that now we'd be asking for 13. And do we then get rejected for the entire plan over a garage that's probably going to fall down in 10 years?
Jack, Okay.
I could just make a comment.
Sure.
It
Commissioner Cronin.
happens, and maybe, I know it's in kind of relationship to what we're seeing, and we've seen it in other areas that we've approved salvaging, actually, historic structures that are being demolition by neglect. And I think that the property owners have an obligation when they have these properties, I think, to take care of them. And if this has been neglectful, I think who owns the property? And if that's kind of where we have to look at, I think we have to take extra care to protect these buildings that are being neglected. And somebody makes that decision when they have a historic building on their property, and whether or not they're going to save it, or whether or not we can save it, and we can try to find out how best to use it. You know, was a garage probably at one time. Maybe you can't use it as a garage now, but I really find that, look around, we have a lot of buildings that this is happening to, and I don't know how we can, you know, continually to say, oh, well, we need parking, or we need, you know, another bedroom or something like that. We're just, you know, this is a historic district. We're losing space. We're losing the character one building at a time. And I just think, as a historic commission, we should go out of our way to have the applicants or to have the owners take better care of these. And if we see them and if we have them, we need to do what we can to save them.
Just to clarify, we're not saying that this is a death by neglect thing. I was just clarifying some of the things there. And we are, and the applicants have been very welcoming for a team from this commission to go and have a look to see what we're actually dealing with.
I'd like to second Commissioner Cronin's comment to say that, yeah, I don't see it as a victory if we take a historic structure and move it out of the historic district. So even if it is preserved but ends up in Osterville, you know, I don't think that we've preserved our historic district by doing that. We've taken something historic and we've moved it for something that was described as urban and dense, which is not what we're after.
That's a good point. Thank you, Commissioner Clark.
I just want to add too, I hear your point and I agree with what you're saying. This is a different applicant. They're a nonprofit. Their priority is keeping people off the streets. They're doing really important work. It's a little different than a private homeowner who lets their barn be neglected. So I do think this is a different kind of application with the nonprofit work that they're doing. I think you're right. There's maybe some neglect, but they're doing a lot of good work, and there's a lot of structures on the property.
Once again, we're not saying that there's neglect. And I will commend Champ House as a mental health practitioner. I am well aware what how much Champ House and other entities very similar to Champ House and other entities are really working hard to help our community, and it is appreciated. So you're welcome. You do good work.
Thank you.
So in that case, I am going to ask, unless there's any further discussion on it, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion for the continuation of this application?
Sure.
To the August 7th thing, and I lost my...
Yeah, I got you. I would move to continue this to August 7th after our report from the commission visit that we're going to have, and those new reports that you're going to submit to us, including the fire report that you got there about the turning radius of the fire trucks, that kind of stuff.
And that's for both of them,
That's
the demolition
and for the
new structure
building
proposal.
permits.
Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Doherty. All right, Commissioner Carley.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I also say aye, so we'll continue it to that date. Thank you very much for your understanding. Alyssa,
Thank
nice
you
to
very
see you
much.
again.
Thank you.
May I just ask one quick procedural question?
Absolutely.
How do we go about setting up this site visit?
You're going to come We just had our volunteer put a hand.
I can reach out to Allison if that
Yeah.
works. All right. Great.
Jim's great at coordinating that.
He likes walkabouts.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the right time of year for walkabouts.
Not tomorrow.
I mean, you know,
Got something to do.
we never tip you for these walkabouts, do
I
you?
know.
We never slip you a 5 or something.
Demolition. and-
Nice job, kid. Thanks for everything.
And actually, before you go, do we need to do a clarification? Because we use the word both, where it's actually 3 separate applications on here. It's for the
demolition and new structures.
structures, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard structure. Fair enough. Just wanted to be technically correct. Excellent. Thank you very much for your understanding.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good 4th.
And Jane, thank you very much for your input.
Oh, you're welcome. What was the continuation date again?
August 7th.
August 7th, thank you.
It's a date.
Thank you. We'll give them a chance to. All right. So at our last meeting, we had nominations, and the nominations are for voting on at this time. It was proposed the continuous chair, and Commissioner Kay and Commissioner Doherty are going to, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, are going to do a switcheroo and trade places. Is that about right?
That's correct.
So in that case, do we want to take them individually or just take the whole slate and vote on that? And is there any other further input beforehand?
Slate sounds fine to me.
Yeah, the whole thing sounds fine to me. Just put it one way.
Jim wants to say it.
We could do chair and vice chair together, but according to the ordinance, the clerk position is amongst everyone. The other 2 are the principal members, which is the 7 full members.
So also the 7 full members,
even further.
if there's an opening, which we only have 6 here, then it's an alternate that fills in.
Not for
Election.
applications, yes, but for electing officers, no.
We only do this once a year. We have to
Yeah.
have reminders.
Principal members only, so the 6 principal members would vote on chair and vice chair, and then you can open it up to everybody for the clerk position.
Okay. So in that case, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion for the chair and vice chair?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I don't know who was first.
Vice chair going to be Cheryl Powell.
For chair, and Tom Doherty, Commissioner Doherty for vice chair. In that case, Commissioner Carley,
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty,
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I also say aye. And now, would somebody like to make, one of the commissioners like to make a actually, if everybody can vote on this for the clerk's position. And I have to say that, this commission actually works, I've said it before, works very well together. And there's not one person who hasn't really contributed in an outstanding fashion. But except who?
Poor Kevin.
What did I do?
He gets confused whether he's an alternate or he's a voter. This one you can vote on, Kev.
I don't want to.
Don't pick on him, just because you're both at the same end of the
Yeah.
table.
Abstain when you get the
So
chance.
is there a motion?
I would
for-
like to nominate. Can I do this? I'd like to nominate my friend Jack Kay here for clerk of the
He's
commission.
already nominated, you're just waiting on the slate, so yes, go ahead.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Doherty. Commissioner Carley. Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
And everybody can vote?
And you're welcome to abstain too if you don't.
Aye.
Commissioner Watson, Commissioner Matthews,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wentworth. I also say aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm only clapping for you, Jack, not them two. So
Okay, so that's done. I don't believe we have any matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Anyone have anything? Nope. So approval of the June 5th, 2024 draft minutes.
I vote to approve the minutes.
Okay, so Commissioner Kay. Aye. Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark. Aye. Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin? Aye. And Commissioner?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that is that, our next meeting. Oh, what else? I always forget. So, our next meeting is on July 17th. I also want to thank staff. Jim, Karen, thank you very much for all your help tonight. You're very valuable to us and appreciated. Motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn. Happy 4th.
Second, third, fourth.
Okay.
Happy 4th.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye.
Doherty. Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Cronin. Commissioner Crowley. Say aye. We are adjourned. Happy 4th.